Jaylon Smith. I will tell you why in a second, but let me get all my things in order and have some give people time to get here. That's what we need to do. Give people a minute to get here. Chatty. All right, Jaylon Smith has been released. Yes, it's true. Jaylon Smith has been released by the Dallas Cowboys. So, things to know about that is a couple of things. Brandon, this isn't clickbait. The Cowboys literally just released Jaylon Smith. It's done. So, here's what this comes down to. Adam Schefter is reporting that the Cowboys just released Jaylon Smith. So, there's a couple of things. One is the Cowboys are still going to owe him. I appreciate the super chat from GB. Why would they do it now, Jeff? I appreciate you. That is a great question. So, I would say there is the potential to find out more later about if there's something behind the scenes about players and coaches and blah, 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 blah. I'm not reporting that because I don't know that about Jaylon Smith. But I know there have been situations in the past with players and coaches who don't see eye to eye or who struggle to communicate or blah, 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 blah. And it's happened with a linebacker coach here before. So is there the potential that there was something weird happening where a coach and a player couldn't get along? Sure, there's the potential of that. I know one thing for sure is they're still going to pay him, $7 million more this season. That'll be done. The biggest thing is that next year, Jaylon Smith's contract is fully guaranteed against injury. So if Jaylon Smith were to keep playing this year and Jaylon Smith got hurt at some point, you would still be on the hook for every dime of his contract next year, which the Cowboys don't want any part of that. I think you would like to move on from him after this year. They're shortcutting it and not risking the fact that he could get hurt this year, and then you'd have to keep him next year. So it is interesting because we're talking about today how I do want the Cowboys to move on from Jaylon Smith at the end of this year. I think that they should probably move on from Leighton Vander Esch as well, unless he's coming back on the cheap. And it's time to look at your defense as a defense that's going to be led by Micah Parsons and Randy Gregory, hopefully, if you keep him around. Tank Lawrence might be on the way out, too. I think they're really going to transition into these younger guys being the leader of this. So I don't know for sure yet if there is like a jumping off point of what the cause was. Like, is there a weird situation between Dan Quinn or a linebacker coach or whatever? There's no doubt that this is weird timing for a release of Jaylon Smith. There's no doubt that it's weird timing. Because if you were going to make sure you didn't have to pay, like, you could have done it at any time. So we may recap for those tuning in. Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Facebook. Hi, Twitch. Hi, YouTube. Please subscribe to the pages. Follow all those things. I sure do appreciate it. Let me know if I miss a super chat, by the way. Jaylon Smith has been released by the Dallas Cowboys, if you're just locking in. Thank you to Formula, kicking it to the pool fund. More playing time for Luke. Well, it could be more playing time for Luke, or it could be some playing time for Jabril Cox, who's been pretty much only special teams at this point. They don't want to take Curse off the field when Wilson comes back from Aaron. See, I do think that there are absolutely things like that that make sense. When you get Donovan Wilson back on the field, I do think that you can have a better player playing linebacker when you're a nickel, when you got 4 linemen, you get 2 linebackers. You can play Donovan Wilson or Jaron Curse as one of those linebackers. They've done that with Jaron Curse already. They already do play him in their big nickel as a linebacker. So, like, there's lots of ways that you can make this make sense in terms of what are you going to do? How is this going to play out on the field? It's just weird timing after week 4 of the NFL season. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, I don't know. I may find something out behind the scenes that was funky, that was off. I just don't know. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world to not put him on the field because you don't want to be on the hook for his salary next year. If you don't want to be on the hook for his salary next year if something were to happen to him on the field this year. But yeah, I mean, there's other places that I want those snaps to go. Was he not tradable given his play this year? From R. Webb, thank you for the super chat. There was no benefit whatsoever in keeping him through the season. From Nels Buck, thank you guys for the super chats. Swipe that like button from Stembo. I appreciate you guys. There really isn't a benefit to having him on the roster unless you think that he's helping you on the field, because you really want to protect your money into the future by not risking having him stuck on your books next year by still having him around. I was stunned that he changed his number in camp. I was like, why is he paying this? Does he think he's going to be here for more than another year? I knew he was going to be here. This would be the last year. I did not know that that would be his last week. And maybe it is as simple as they're going to get Keanu Neal back off the COVID list, and maybe Donovan Wilson's close, and they're just realizing we have places we'd rather these snaps go, and it protects our money next year. Robert, my issue is team's unity now. Are the players going to look past this? I don't want to speculate on what people think or how people feel about certain players. What I will say is I do believe there are plenty of people on the team that feel the same way that plenty of people in the fan base feel about certain players, about lack of awareness with celebrations and the when and where and all those different things. But hopefully this means more snaps for Jabril Cox. I think that would be nice. Dallas said, wasn't he grading pretty good this year? I don't do Pro Football Focus grades. I think that Jalen this year has been better than terrible, but still a liability. And in different weeks, it's like he's a liability in different ways. Initially, I'm like, oh, he can't cover. And then this year, I'm like, oh, his run defense is the worst thing that he's doing. Like, he's afraid to take on contact, other than one play last week. So – so because he swiped in the game, no. If you're just joining, Jaylon Smith has been released from the Dallas Cowboys, so they will be off the books on him for last year. I do know that that is a very big thing. They did not want to have Jaylon Smith get hurt at any point this year, because if he couldn't pass a physical for next year, his salary would have been fully guaranteed for injury, not for performance. So cutting him now means that you will definitely be off the books next year, but you will be eating money this year. Did Jerry finally get around to watching the film from Vance in the super chat? Maybe. That'll be interesting to see. And no, nobody was going to trade for Jaylon Smith because Jaylon Smith is not playing to the level that he's paid. I mean, his contract is, what was the average salary on his contract? Like 10 or 11 million bucks per year on the extension. And he's just not that good. So hopefully Jabril Cox is ready to play some snaps, or Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse will be playing those snaps. There's a way that Dan Quinn wants his defense to look. I know that. He wants his bigs and his corners to be long, strong. He wants the guys that aren't the corners or the big men up front to be fast and violent. And I don't think that applies to Jalen. But the timing is still weird. The timing is still weird after a week 4 game. So I'll be interested to see if there is more to it than that. But there's plenty of things that do make sense about it. Hey, look, it's Lloyd. Jerry is salting his McGriddle. Oh, and Harrison, or what? What's up, homies from way back in the way back? Love you guys. Define long and strong. Jalen getting picked up by the Giants or Eagles from Jay Moon. I appreciate you, brother. We'll see. I mean, now my dog has totally torn things apart. Yeah, so, there will be no more swiping on the Dallas Cowboys. Who picks him up? I don't know, but whoever picks him up, I bet you they're not going to be paying him $10 to $15 million a year. So is this really official from Jimmy? I mean, technically, until it crosses the wire, I guess it could not be official, but Adam Schefter reported Jaylon Smith has been released. Jory Epstein from USA Today has tweeted out that she confirmed that Jaylon Smith has been released. So Jaylon Smith is no longer a Dallas Cowboy as of this moment. And I will not celebrate I never celebrate people losing their jobs, but I know a lot of people were ready to move on from Jaylon Smith or thought that the production didn't match the salary. And obviously I exist in that camp as well. So Jaylon Smith will be out of there. And there are a lot of different candidates for those snaps that he's given up. And I think most of those guys are smaller, faster, and better in coverage. So you're okay. You're going to be okay. Brian confirmed too. Sage, appreciate you in the super chat. You're a beast. You're a beast. So that's it. And maybe Micah Parsons is going to be about to play a lot more linebacker snaps, but you've got a lot of people celebrating this. No, I'm not going to celebrate a guy losing his job, but Jalen was just each year it was something different. Austin, are we making moves during the trade deadline? They could make moves during the trade deadline, but it'll see. How do I knock people out of here who are spamming the chat? Get that crap out of here. Is there a way to like pause my chat and get rid of that person? Seth, what up, brother? In the super chat, I appreciate you. He says, first time Dono, long-time listener, keep up the work. Best of luck to Jalen. But how about them Cowboys? Different season because when has Jerry and company done this before midseason? That is an interesting point. The Cowboys really are at a point now where I think they've entrusted guys who are worthy of being trusted with a lot of authority. Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn. So I would imagine, well, not imagine, obviously they were on board with this. This is a cap move for next year from Jay. Appreciate you. Yeah. There's no doubt that part of this is next year. Because if Jalen went out there and had a compound fracture next week, you can't cut him. He would be on the books for his entire salary next year because it was guaranteed for injury. So there's no doubt that that is part of it, but it's still weird timing after a week 4 game to release a guy. So we'll see if there's anything else to it. Christian, could we see more Jabril Cox? Keep spreading knowledge and love, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope so. I do. I hope so. I'd love to see Jabril Cox. And we were just talking about how good our depth was from Matthew. I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, but your depth is good. Think about it. If Jaylon Smith is not on the field at linebacker when you're out there in nickel, then all right, here we go. Can I catch him? How do I get that? Catch it? Yeah. Add to block list in the chat. Bow. I think I got it. Wait, what am I doing? Yeah, so we'll see where Jalen ends up. But Jaylon Smith has been released by the Dallas Cowboys. He will not be here. And once again, there are a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys that can play the snaps he's been playing. And I believe do it better than he's been doing it. And as Michael Gelkin is tweeting out right now from the Dallas Morning News, he's tweeting out his old story from a few weeks ago where he was talking about the team was uncomfortable with the fact that $9.2 million was going to be owed to Jaylon Smith in 2022 if he got hurt. So he couldn't be traded. Nobody was going to trade for him. They didn't want to potentially be on the books for over $9 million next year for a player they didn't want to have on the roster anymore. And so they're just making the move now. So Jaylon Smith, no longer a Dallas Cowboy. So there you go. There you go. You do not get a comp pick for people that you release. So, no, we don't want to win. Yes, they do want to win. They want to protect their salary cap. They want to protect their money, and they want to win at football. And honestly, they have guys who can play at that linebacker spot better than Jaylon Smith has been playing. Smoke, appreciate you in the super chat. That means our linebacker core is good. So Micah, Neal, LVE, Cox, Curse, a lot of folks can play a spot better than him and very faster to the ball. Yes, and that's what Dan Quinn wants. Those second level guys, he wants the guys at the second level to play fast. He wants everybody to be able to cover. He wants everybody to be able to blitz. And I think Jalen just had physical limitations. You combine that with what was going on the salary cap and what it could have been next year, and they did what they had to do to make sure that they took care of themselves. And so that's that. And so we'll talk about it tomorrow. You guys hop on to 1053thefan.com, listen to the Odyssey app or the Dallas fan cam on Twitch, catch nosebleed seats, as I'm sure they're tearing this thing up right now. I'm going to go listen to them for a while. Ralph, appreciate the super chat. Cowboys play 4-2-4, depth as much. Well, they play 4-2-5. That's nickel. And that's what everybody plays. And some teams play 3-3-5. There's different ways to do this, but generally speaking, safeties are playing linebacker now. So where do you see them going? I have no idea. I'll be monitoring just like everybody else will be monitoring. All right, everybody be cool. Please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you are subscribed on Facebook, following, all those things. I'm on the Twitch. I'm on the YouTube. I'm on the Facebook. Jeff Kavanaugh, all those things. Cal Bundy. Makes sense why Jalen wasn't on Hard Knocks. Thank you for the super chat. And we'll see. We'll see if there's anything more to it than the fact that they were actively trying to trade him. They were trying to protect themselves next year. And if they could have found a trade partner, they would have done it that way. It's just that when you have a big salary guy who's just not that good, you're not going to be able to move him. And so maybe they tried their best. Maybe there was something behind the scenes that changed recently, but they were going to do this. This was going to happen. They were going to try to find a way to not have him on the books next year. So thank you to everybody for hanging out with me. Make sure you're subscribed and go watch some baseball. And Cody, they didn't want to keep him in case a linebacker gets hurt, because what if he's the linebacker that gets hurt? They're stuck with $9 million in the cap that they didn't want. So that's it. All right. Peace out, my homies. Have a great night. Remember, you have no idea what anybody is going through, so be cool to everybody.